Hello, class 9th students. Greetings of the day. I welcome you to the online classes of Bloomingbird Square School, Sambal. Today, we are going to have the second lecture of our first chapter, which is Earth as a Planet. In our last lecture, we studied about the Earth and about its shape. We studied about various proof which tells us about the shape of the earth, that the shape of the earth is spherical. We studied that how circumnavigation proved that earth is spherical in shape. We studied that how pole star tells us that the shape of the earth is spherical. We studied that how uh, the satellite pictures tells us about the shape of the earth, how lunar eclipse and circular horizon, sunrise and sunset and the other heavenly bodies tells us about the shape of the earth. We also studied the proof, okay, which was the sighting of a ship, how the sighting of a ship tells us that the shape of the earth must be spherical. And we also took into account the Bedford Canal experiment, which was conducted by Dr. Wallace in England. Now, that was done. Today we are going to have the second topic of our book, which is uh, one paragraph about the shape of the earth again, and second about the earth as a home to humankind. Let me have a chalk. So we have studied that the shape of the earth is oblate spheroid. This oblate spheroid, it is not a true spheroid. Earth shape is not spherical, right? It's not exactly spherical, but it is quite flattened at the top, right? So it is like this. I told you yesterday that it is a spherical shape, but when, because earth is rotating, right, earth is rotating on its own axis. So because suppose it is the axis of the earth, right, and because of the rotation on the axis of the earth, what's happening here, the equate the earth from the middle, okay, this one, right, from the center, it bulges out a little like this. It bulges out a little like this. It is bulging out this way, right, this way. Whereas at the poles it is becoming flattened, right, it is becoming flattened, flat, right. So because of the you can say centrifugal force, when an object is rotating, it is having two types of forces. The force which works outward, that force is called centrifugal force, and the force which work inward, right, inside, that force is called centripetal force, right. So because of the centrifugal force, the earth is bulging out at its center, right, and the poles are becoming flat. So that is why it is having oblate spheroid shape, right, oblate spheroid shape. And this is also called geoid shape. Geoid, we have given earth shaped, okay, geoid means earth shaped, geo means earth, oid means shaped, okay, earth shaped. Clear? So this was about that. Now here When it is becoming flat, so it means the uh, diameter at the pole must be lesser than the diameter at the equator. So diameter at the pole is 12,000. Diameter at the pole is 12,714. 714, whereas at equator it is 12,500, sorry, 12,756. 12,756 kilometer, right? So this was all about the shape. Now we will study various other things about the earth. We will study that how earth is a unique planet. Why earth is a unique planet? Because earth is having life on it. None other planet, okay, like Mercury or Venus or other planets, which 8 planets which we have in our solar system, none of those planets is having life, okay. Only earth is having life on it, and it is a home to the humankind, okay. So this topic will be earth as the home of humankind. Earth as a home of humankind. If I ask you to go to Venus and live there, so will you be able to live? No. Venus is extremely hot. Okay, Venus is extremely hot. We are having 8 planets. So some planets are extremely cold and some planets are extremely hot. Okay. Only Earth is having suitable or optimum temperature or climatic conditions which are suitable for life, whereas other planets are not having. So on Earth we are having ponds, lakes, rivers, lush green forest. We are having islands. We are having land. We are having big land masses, continents. We are having atmosphere in which we are having the life supporting gases, oxygen, CO2, right? Nitrogen, and we are having a number of things which are required to have life, right? So that is why earth is a home to the humankind and life exists on it. Temperature is also suitable, okay. So we will study what are the reasons, okay, what are the, you can say, uh, things which make uh, life on earth possible, right, which make life possible on earth. So those things, those reasons we are going to study, those factors we are going to study, okay. uh, in this we will study. So let me ask you, what are the things, okay, what are the characteristics on earth which uh, make life possible on earth? What are the things? First thing, like suppose if sometime during extreme or scorching summers you feel very hot, okay, and you feel like you're restless, okay, and if temperature is raised by 5 degree or 10 degree more, then you will not be able to survive here, okay. So I'm telling you, this is the condition when the temperature is above 40 degrees Celsius during summers, okay, you feel extremely uncomfortable, okay, and if the temperature is increased by 10 degree or 15 degree more, then you may even die also by heat stroke, okay. So it means your life will end, okay. So on earth, first of all, we are having suitable temperature, right, and that temperature is just because of one factor, right, that we will study. Other than temperature, we are having things like water, atmosphere, solid crust, that is lithosphere, biosphere, right? These all things. So first factor which is responsible for life on Earth is distance from the sun. So this is sun, then here we are having Mercury, then here we are having Venus, and then we are having Earth, then we are having Mars, right? So this Mercury is very close to the sun, that's why it is very warm, very hot temperature, temperature is there, very high temperature is there, right? Likewise Venus is even hotter than Mars. Why? Because on Venus CO2, carbon dioxide gas, is found abundantly, okay, which works as a greenhouse gas, and because of the greenhouse effect, the temperature is very high here on Venus, okay, more than 400 degree Celsius, 300 degrees Celsius, okay. So on these two planets, if you visit these two planets, you will not be able to survive, right? Because of the very high temperature. Whereas on Mars, temperature is little bit okay, right? But when you go on other planets like Jupiter, Saturn, right? Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, then these temperatures are cold, right? Here temperature is very low. Clear? Here temperature is very high. But we are having optimum condition of temperature where? Only on Earth. It is neither too far from the sun nor too close to the sun, right? That is why it is having moderate temperature, which is around 17 to 18 degree Celsius, right? Or 17 to 20 degrees Celsius, you can say. That is the temperature on Earth's surface, and which is suitable for our life. That is why we are here on Earth, and Earth is a home to us, right? Earth is a home of humankind. Then second thing is in temperature itself, okay. The distance from the sun we have studied, in that we have studied temperature also. Now here second is temperature in particular. So the Earth is the third planet from the sun. It has an average temperature of 17 degrees Celsius, I have told you, right? Then if the average temperature on the Earth's surface changes by only a few degrees, many species would perish due to extreme heat or cold. That I have already told you. If temperature increase by 1 degree, 2 degrees Celsius or 10 degrees Celsius, then what will happen? So many species on Earth will perish, will come to an end. The other two terrestrial planets, Mercury and Venus, are very hot with maximum temperature of more than 400 degrees Celsius. The remaining planets in the solar system are very cold with surface temperature below 0 degrees Celsius. This also I have told you, right? Venus is the second planet from the sun. So this distance from the sun and temperature has been intermixed. Okay, I have told you so many things about this, right? On now we will take into account atmosphere. See, on Earth we are having atmosphere, we are having lithosphere, we are having hydrosphere, we are having biosphere, right? So atmosphere, first we will study atmosphere. Suppose this is Earth, right? On Earth we are having this a realm of air or gaseous particles, a realm of the Earth where gaseous particles or gases or air is found. That realm is called atmosphere. So we are having this huge realm or huge domain of the Earth where this atmosphere, or you can say the atom of the airs, are found. Clear? This is called atmosphere. Then after this, what will start? Vacuum will start in space. Okay, until here air is here. In air, air is a mixture of different gases like oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, these many gases are there. Okay, so that we will study. Now, if we were not having this atmosphere, would it be possible for us to live on the earth? No, it will not be possible for us. Why? Because we require atmosphere, right? In which case atmosphere will not be here? In the case when we are not having gravity. Okay, in that case also, or in other cases also. Suppose if atmosphere is not there, then oxygen will not be there. When oxygen will not be there, will be able to survive. Just close your nose and lips just for 1 minute and see, will you survive without oxygen? We need continuous supply of oxygen, right? So if atmosphere is not there, then oxygen is not there, we will not be able to survive. So in our atmosphere, 78% composition is of nitrogen, N2, nitrogen, right? And then oxygen is 21%, right? And then after that, we are having this carbon dioxide, argon, right? Or so many other gases. This is just for 1%, right? So these many gases are found in atmosphere. Nitrogen is required for our body making, for body structure making. Nitrogen is required by plants also for making food, right? For that we are having nitrogen cycle that we will also study, right? Then now second thing is that we receive, which other way atmosphere helps us, which other way atmosphere helps us. See, we are having very rich atmosphere, and this we are having these clouds, right? And suppose sun is here. So from we are having here a layer of ozone gas, O3 gas. Which gas? O3, right? So from here radiations is released from sun, right? And that radiation is received by earth, right? This is called insolation. What? Insolation. Full form of insolation is incoming solar radiation, right? Incoming solar radiation or insolation. Now in this, UV particles are there, ultraviolet rays are there, ultraviolet particles, radiation is there, that is absorbed by O3, right? Ozone gas. This is very harmful, right? It may cause cancer, skin cancer to human beings. Okay, so that is absorbed by it. By who is absorbing it? Atmosphere is absorbing it. Which part of atmosphere? There is that the part which is having ozone gas, right? Ozonosphere, you can say. Clear? So, and one more thing, that this high radiation is this incoming solar radiation is scattered back. Okay, scattered back by our atmosphere, by these gases, by clouds, right? Otherwise, what will happen? We will receive a huge amount of insolation, right? Huge amount of heat energy, and Earth will become very warm. Getting or not? But a lot of amount of incoming solar radiation is reflected back, right? Dispersed, we can say, by these clouds. Okay, so this way also it is moderating the temperature. The atmosphere is moderating the temperature of the earth. Clear? Now whichever temperature this earth has received during daytime, right, during daytime, what will happen? That temperature or that heat energy will be released by it during night time when sun is not available. Okay, so it will be released into the space this way, right? This is called terrestrial radiation. What it is called? Terrestrial radiation. The radiation released by earth. terrestrial radiation. So this terrestrial radiation is there during night time when clouds are there, or uh, what happens when the earth releases its heat energy at the night time. Then the atmosphere, okay, the carbon dioxide gases in it, okay, or suppose this is heat energy getting released, so it will be trapped by CO2 particles, okay, or carbon monoxide particles, okay, or chlorofluorocarbon CFCs, right? This will absorb this heat energy, okay, and the clouds will not let it go completely, okay. Suppose it is space, so means it will prevent earth becoming too cold, means radiation will be going to space, okay, even then also, but some of the heat will be absorbed by our atmosphere. So we people are here, suppose, okay, and this is our atmosphere. We will not feel cold. Why? Because these particles, this atmosphere has absorbed some heat energy, okay. So means temperature will be moderate here, it will not become too much cold, right? So that's how atmosphere is helping us, okay, uh, in surviving on earth, right, making suitable conditions for living. Then second thing, the earth atmosphere is made up of life supporting gases like nitrogen, N2 gas, okay, which is required by plants and it is fixed by nitrofixations, legumes plants. Oxygen, which we need, okay. And why do we need oxygen? We need oxygen for respiration, right? And then carbon dioxide. Other gases include helium and argon. These gases are found. Ozone present in the earth's atmosphere absorbs the harmful ultraviolet rays. I have told you the atmosphere also prevents loss of heat from the earth's surface and helps to keep the earth warm. That I have also told you. So this was all about atmosphere, how atmosphere support life on earth, right, and helps earth becoming a home to humankind. Now the next thing, let me just see the camera whether it is getting recorded or not. Okay, 22 minutes. Now next thing is water. Water, or you can say the hydrosphere. Water or hydrosphere. So in order of basic needs, the first thing is required us oxygen, then the second thing which is required by us is water, right, then food. Clear? So water, earth is a watery planet. Earth is having around 70% of the surface of the earth is covered by water only. 70% of the earth is covered by water, and the rest 30% is land. Distribution of water is responsible for moderating the climate and surface condition of the earth. Okay. Now, first of all, water is required for drinking purposes by human beings. Okay. And second thing, water also plays so many other crucial roles in supporting life on earth. It also works as a, moderating, it also makes the temperature moderate, okay. The areas which are near to seas, we have studied that, suppose it is sea and this is land, right? So the areas, the land which is near the sea, it is having equable type of climate, equable or moderate climate. Now, why does it have moderate climate? Because of the influence of the sea, right? Water in the seas or oceans, they absorb heat energy throughout the daytime, okay, and they are the good absorber of heat. They absorb heat, still they are having less temperature, okay, heat is there inside it. During daytime, they receive heat, clear? And during daytime, what happen? Land, okay, here, suppose this is land, and what will happen during daytime? It will become very hot, okay. Land become hot quicker than water, okay. So the sea breeze will blow from here towards the land, okay, and this will having a cooling effect, okay. The air will be cooler than the air on the land, okay. So this cool air will blow from sea towards land and will moderate the temperature, okay. Then what will happen at night time when sun will not be here, okay, then this heat will be released by the land very quickly, okay, and it will become cold, right? Getting or not? And the, here the water is having still heat energy. Now it will start releasing heat energy during night time, clear? And here the weather will be warm, okay, you can say. So the land breeze will blow from here to here, okay, and the cold winds will reach to the surrounding oceans, okay, or water, right, and here temperature will become moderate. So this is how the sea is influencing the temperature, right? And this heat is not absorbed just at one place. Okay, the water bodies are interconnected. Okay, and this heat is distributed towards various places. Okay, uh, within one ocean, so many seas are there. So within from one sea to another sea. Okay, these all are interconnected. So this heat is distributed throughout the globe, right, and which make a moderating effect, okay, on earth. Then now here how water also helps us. See, we will study about the water cycle also in this, and we are studying water hydrosphere. So if there is a water body, from that water body what will happen? Evaporation will take place. This water will get evaporated, right, in the form of vapor. And suppose after reaching here, what will happen? Condensation of this water vapor will take place. It will condense, okay, and will get changed into what? Water droplets, right? And then again will fall in form of precipitation, whether in the form of rain or in the form of snowfall or hail or whatever else, okay. Then again it will fall here, right? Suppose it is falling here, rain is falling here, then it will be collected into the rivers, and again river will join seas, okay. So this cycle will keep going, this cycle will keep going, clear? This is water cycle. I hope you would have understood that. Then video is becoming too long. Okay, in this section they have given about ecosystem and about biosphere also. So what is ecosystem? They have given that the self-regulating and self-sustaining structural and functional unit of biosphere is called ecosystem. Like pond is there, okay, suppose there is a pond, right? In this pond we are having this plants, water plants, okay. These water plants also, algae also, right? We are having here frogs also, right? Means what will happen, these all things, fishes also, right? These all things are interconnected, okay, right? And self dependent, right? Fish will eat larvae or some other microorganisms, okay, and when fish will die, okay, it will get changed into, it will get decomposed, and all nutrients will be absorbed by plants, and again plant will be eaten by other sea organisms, sorry, water organisms, okay, and it will be self dependent, self sustained, right? A unit, structural as well as functional unit of life it will be, right? So what is ecosystem? Self regulating and self sustaining structural and functional unit of biosphere is called ecosystem. Like suppose second example is ecosystem of grasslands. Suppose this is a grassland, right? Grasses are there, so these grasses will be eaten by grasshopper, right? And this grasshopper will be eaten by frog, right? I can't make frog, that's why I've written frog here, right? And then this frog will be eaten by snake. I can make a snake, huh? Snake तो बना सकता हूँ. Leave it. Okay, snake, clear? Then this snake will die and will get decomposed, and all the nutrients will be absorbed by plant again, right? So this complete life cycle is going on here. From grasses, grasshopper, energy is getting transferred to grasshopper, then to frog, then to snake, and the snake is dying again and again, getting absorbed by these grasses. So this is self-sustained, functional as well as structural unit of biosphere or life, you can say, right? So these ecosystems, okay, one ecosystem is this ecosystem, right? Another ecosystem is of pond, right? Another ecosystem, right? Another ecosystem may be of any meadows or Sahara or any desert, okay, getting or not? So all these ecosystems are interconnected and together with they are called biosphere. They are called biosphere, right? That we have studied. Okay, now we will study about lithosphere. What is the duration of video? It has been 33 minutes. I was supposed to finish it by 20 minutes. Okay. Next is lithosphere. Lith means stone, sphere means the real, right? So lithosphere is that domain of the earth where we are having a solid crust, okay, or solid surface to stand. Okay, lith means stone plus sphere or domain of the earth. Okay, lithosphere means basically the land. Clear? So earth is composed of rocks. This is the surface of the earth, okay. We are having here these rocks are, you can say, cooled form of magma or the hot material which is inside the earth, okay. When it comes out, right, and then it cools down and get hardened, okay, so that layer is called lithosphere. Now these rocks are broken down, okay, are weathered, getting or not? So degradation of these rocks takes place, okay, and then these when get mixed with humus, okay, or various other organic material, right? Humus is itself organic material, right? Plus broken rocks, they form what? Soil. They form soil, right? They form soil, and this soil, suppose this is the layer of soil, right? The soil is required for the growth of plants. Plants will not grow if the soil is not there. Okay, the roots of the plants receive various nutrients, okay, nitrogen, right, N2 from and it is in the form of NH3 ammonia, right, or NO3 or any other form, okay, in nitrate form. So nitrate is absorbed from this here, okay, as well as water, right, or so many other things, other nutrients are absorbed by its roots from the soil, okay, and then what happens, it makes its food, right, by the process of photosynthesis, right, and then this is autotroph, right, autotroph, it is making its food itself, and then the animals, okay, suppose one deer is there, okay, deer or any other animal, or suppose human beings, okay, we all consume these, okay, uh, herbivores, okay, and then carnivores consume the animals, okay, and we are the omnivores, we consume these plants also as well as animals also, okay. So this is how we need lithosphere. Lithosphere is also needed in order to stand on the earth, right, as well as it is also required to for the growth of the plants, okay, which are the supplier of energy. If it is not there, we will not have energy, okay. Plants are not there, we will not have energy, we will not survive here. Getting or not? So first of all, it is giving us a surface to stand, right. It is not a gaseous planet, right. If gases were there, where were we supposed to stand, okay. So it's a hard surface on which we stand, and it supports life by providing this realm, okay, soil and all these things, okay, on which these autotrophs generate, okay. Okay, then but we are having biosphere. So the lithosphere and atmosphere as well as hydrosphere, okay, the realm where all these three spheres meet with each other, okay, that realm is called what? Biosphere. Suppose it is lithosphere, okay, this is lithosphere, right, and suppose it is uh, biosphere, sorry, hydrosphere, and this is atmosphere. So all these three are meeting here, this is biosphere, okay, this is biosphere. It is that domain of the earth or area or realm of the earth which supports life on earth, okay, life on earth, that is what, that is biosphere. I wanted to finish this entire chapter in one lecture only, but I think uh, 38 minutes are over. Just 2 minutes more, then I'll finish it and I'll make another video for next topic. Okay. So this biosphere supports life. Okay, all the ecosystems are found on biosphere because we need water also, land also, as well as air also in order to survive. Okay, some species may not need air, okay, but still they need oxygen, and oxygen is obtained from atmosphere. Okay, like marine animals, they also need oxygen, right? So oxygen is dissolved from the atmosphere into the sea water, okay, and then it is obtained by them. Getting or not? So means with the support of these three realms of the earth, we can survive. And the realm of the earth where the life exists, that realm is called biosphere. Okay. Biosphere provides all the necessities for species living on earth like light, heat, water, food and habitats. Okay. And biosphere is a thin layer of approximately 15 kilometers from the deepest ocean trench to the highest mountain peak. Okay, from the deepest part of the ocean to the highest peak, 7,885 uh, meters, that is height of Mount Everest. At the ground level it extends on a depth of just 3 meters below, and in ocean waters about 200 meters deep, where the marine and freshwater life is found. Okay, so this is, they are telling us up to which extent life can be found. Okay, 200-meter deep downside the earth, right? Otherwise if we'll go deeper than that, we'll be not able to breathe, and we'll need cylinders there, oxygen cylinders, to breathe. Okay, within the biosphere life is found chiefly in two forms, the plant kingdoms and the animal kingdoms, that we already know. Okay, this was all about uh, the earth means the factors which were supporting life on earth. We have studied about the distance from the sun, temperature, atmosphere, water, and lithosphere, biosphere. Okay, and next topic is life giving cycles. Life giving cycles are there on earth. That is the last factor which we will be studying, okay, in our next lecture. Thank you so much.